Testing, testing. Testing, testing, 1, 2.
Testing, testing, 1, 2.
All right, guys.
Like that.
Sorry, I was just going to give Kynan the opportunity to come out. No pressure, Kynan. Good afternoon, everyone. Happy New Year. Thank you, everyone, for joining us at today's combined Shotsuki and Hoonko service. Shotsuki is a monthly memorial service that gives us the opportunity to gather together at temple and to remember loved ones who've passed away and reflect on all of their efforts, their teachings, and the encouragement that they've given us. Hoonko is an annual memorial service for Shinran Shonin, who is the founder of Jodo Shinshu Buddhism. And it's also a time for us to express our gratitude to Shinran Shonin for his teachings and to reflect on the foundations that his teachings have provided us. Hoonko is also one of the Sandai Hoyo, or what I call the Big Three. There's probably a proper name for that, but one of the three main services for Jodo Shinshu Buddhists. So if you can only make it to 2 more services this year, schedule April for Hanamatsuri and schedule July for Obon. We will begin this morning's service with Seiza, or by sitting quietly for a few moments. And Seiza gives us that time to just pause or to hit stop for a little bit and to prepare ourselves to learn more about the Dharma. We can do that by just kind of pausing that running commentary that's always going through our brains and focusing on something simple that kind of connects us to the present moment. So it might be the sound of the gong fading after sensei hits it. It might be listening to all of the different sounds that you could hear in the hondo, or it could be simple as focusing in on the air as it enters and exits as you inhale and exhale. So we'll begin this morning's this afternoon's service with Seiza. So if you'll uncross your legs, plant your feet on the ground. If you'll sit up straighter, if you'll sit up taller, and if you'd like to put your hands together in Gassho, we'll begin with Seiza. By regarding each individual as a fellow traveler, following the same path, being guided and embraced by Amida Buddha, we are enabled to respect and help each other while courageously coping with difficult social issues. Let us continue listening and appreciating Amida Buddha's workings as Buddhist followers while cherishing each and every day. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda. So today's order of service will be slightly different from our regular Sunday morning services. So today we'll be singing a gatha, followed by Shoshin Nembutsuge, or the short form is Shoshinge, followed by 2 recitations, Sensei's Dharma message, and then Ondoksan. So we'll only be doing 2 gathas this afternoon, and we will not be saying Sanbujo before Shoshin Nembutsuge. So if you are able, I'll ask you to rise for this this afternoon's first gatha, Shinshu Shuka, the Shinshu anthem, and the words will appear on the screens at the front of the hondo. Thank you, everyone. You may be seated. So next we'll be chanting Shoshin Nembutsuge, or again, Shoshinge for short. And it was a sutra that was written by Shinran Shonin. Once we've started chanting, I will invite you to come forward to go Oshoko. And going Oshoko is an expression of our appreciation and our gratitude. So you'll come forward, you'll bow in front of the statue of the Buddha, you'll take a pinch of incense and put it inside of the brazier. Then if I can ask you guys to take a couple steps to your right and bow to the white cards at the front. And on those white cards are written the Homyo, or the Buddhist names of people who've passed away during the month of January. So again, if you'll turn to them and bow as well before being seated. I would ask that you guys remain seated until your row is motioned forward by Harry to come forward to go Oshoko. That will just avoid having long lineups of people waiting in the aisles, as well as you just having to stand. And then there will also be nobody chanting with the sensei tachi. And today as well, Kainen is going to be leading us in chanting Shoshinge. So take it away, Kainen. Thank you.
Namandats, 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 namandats. Kimyo umuryo ujunyorai Namo fukashi go Hozo bosatsu.
So if you are observing Shotsuki this month or would like to come forward to go Oshoko, please feel free to do so.
Shojin sets
一切群上無故障本願名号症状後死心信行願人浄土学書大涅槃意志滅度願成就如来所以公修世唯説弥陀本願会五辱悪人群上会王子如来如実語納仏一年喜愛心不断煩悩徳涅槃凡上逆法再永入領主死入海一民摂取信仰上昇後意の水や無明暗都内心臓死有無上不真実信心天異如二個不運無運無しげ妙無暗逆心謙虚大狂気即を超絶語悪臭一切全幕凡部人門師如来偶世願仏言古代証下者善人妙不断理系弥陀仏本願念仏邪見教魔なく修上信行十字人に難中死難昔インド祭天子論下中華自治域史構想現代諸公聖書意妙如来本税置き釈迦如来両合戦一種五妙難天寺龍樹大自主統制質の財派有無権先絶大乗無常召喚議事昭安な賢治難行六六信行異行 道楽億年弥陀仏音願自念即自入一上唯の上昇如来語大大偶然を天神菩薩増論説奇妙無下光如来永衆たら見真実後世の頂戴税願こういう本願力へこ移動群上昇一心記入功徳大崩壊筆逆入大へ収集特使伝下造世界即小子女法精進有本の人間人図入所自音自用下本師鈍乱両天使上皇乱消防殺来三蔵ルシ十上教凡上宣行気楽法天神菩薩増流下報道因果見世願おげねこゆたり少女死因唯心人惑前本部新人没承知承知即涅槃一子無量光明道小修上回復家同社結晶道満章唯名浄土活入万全自力変言集円満特語感染症三不三死下音語増末法滅道因一生増悪地偶然思安如が称名か全道独名無所依公愛上三よ逆悪 そうごよい大と逆三人即所法所四条楽原神公開一大慶返帰安女開祭先祖死有心反戦人法家二道正面理由極重悪人唯小物が薬剤摂取治癒煩悩証言水風景大悲無権上層が本資源苦妙無形年民前魔文部人新宗教書公編集先着本願具悪性現内生じ輪廻下ケチ義上一生死即入弱上無いら一信心いのにゆ愚教大事主子問う上際無変極上悪同族自由修愚道心唯かし心高層説ナモアミダンブナモアミダンブナモアミダンブナ Namo Amidan Bu. Ngani shiku doku myodo seisai don bodaishi ojo annago. Namandals, 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 namandals.
Next, we'll be reciting our two recitations, the Golden Chain and Six Paramita. Again, the words will appear on the screens at the front. So if you are able, if you will please rise. Golden Chain. I'm a link in Amida Buddha's golden chain of love that stretches around the world. In gratitude, may I keep my link bright and strong. I will try to be kind and gentle to every living thing and protect all who are weaker than myself. I will try to think pure and beautiful thoughts, to say pure and beautiful words, and to do pure and beautiful deeds. May every link in Amida Buddha's golden chain of love be bright and strong, and may we all attain perfect peace. The six paramita, giving. I shall be kind and helpful to others. Discipline. I shall follow the precepts of the Buddha. Patience. I shall be patient and understanding. Endeavor. I shall do my best in all things. Meditation. I shall reflect on the teachings of the Buddha. Wisdom. I shall seek the light of wisdom. Thank you, everyone. You may be seated. Next, I'll call upon Roland Sensei for his Dharma message. And as he's coming down, I'd just like to read a quick passage for everybody on how to listen to a Dharma message. Listen as if I am listening for the first time. Listen as if the message is for myself alone. Listen as if this is the last chance to listen to the Dharma. Thank you.
Oh, it is working. All right, so I am so excited today. I am just pumped. You know why? Anybody know why? Because I have so many kids here today. It's so exciting. It's really cool. The girls, do they want to come up? And then they can get excused into the Dharma class after I have a quick chat with them. And Jojo, I don't know about you. Are you too old to come up to the front? Not too old to be excused early? All right. Yeah, so you girls can come up front. Okay, so I have some questions to ask you guys. So first of all, how many of you guys, is it your, oh, you can sit, oh, yeah, sit up right here. How many of you, is it the first time being here at this temple? Put up your hands if it's their first time here. I don't think that's, yeah. So it's your first time. What's your name?
Destiny Gray.
Destiny Gray? Oh, that's a beautiful name, Destiny, yeah. So for those of you who've been here before, what's different about what I'm wearing? Is there anything different? Oh, sorry, I keep moving on, David.
You have black and bag, and you have white on there.
That's very good. How did she know that? So normally, what am I wearing?
A bag.
A bag, but what robe?
A sweater.
What robe usually? It's black, right? And today I'm wearing white. So I told my wife today I get to be Gandalf the White today, not Gandalf the Black. Does anybody get that reference? I know Keiko did. Okay, so what are we celebrating today? Christmas? New Year's. Excellent, that's very good. So what's special about New Year's? If we didn't have New Year's, that means that you guys wouldn't get 1 year older, right? So every time there's a new year, that means this year you'll be 1 year older, right? You're 5? So are you turning 5 this year? You guys are 8. You're 4? How many people are younger than 4? Put up your hand. So, do you know what happens at New Year's, you guys? What happens at New Year's? Yes?
It's not a countdown.
There's a countdown. Yes, so we didn't do a countdown. Maybe we should have. Our chanting today was kind of like a countdown because it was so long. Right? Were you guys bored? Were you guys bored? You can be honest. Yeah, you were pretty bored. Yeah, me too. So at New Year's time, we do lots of things. So on New Year's Eve, I went to the Japanese gardens. Have you guys been to the Japanese gardens before? Yeah, who has? Yeah. And we rang the bell. And we rang the bell 108 times. It was lots of fun. We had lots of people come out. 108. It took a long time, almost as long as the chanting did today. Yeah. And no? Okay. And then what else do we do at New Year's? Is there anything that you guys do or your parents do? Yeah, you families, that's true. Anything else that has anybody resolutions? That's a great answer. So you make New Year's resolutions. Does anybody know what a New Year's resolution means? No? Can you tell us, Jojo? Right. So it's kind of like you make a promise to yourself, right? That I'm going to try to be better at. Can you give me an example, Jojo? Better at ringette. Is that a good resolution? No? Okay. So I'm going to give you some of my New Year's resolutions. Promises that I'm going to try to keep. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it. So I said, I'm going to try to lose weight. I try to do that every year. It is pretty funny, yeah. Can you guys think of any resolutions that you might want to make? Promises that you might want to keep, try to do? Can anybody think of any? Even of the adults, any of the adults. Who's made a resolution this year at New Year's? No one? Oh, go ahead, yeah. Less screen time. That's a really good one. That would be one that applies to everybody in this room, I think. Less screen time. There's actually one person who can't do less screen time, and that's Tomiko back there. Tomiko, can you raise your hand? Okay, do you know why Tomiko can't do less screen time? She doesn't have a computer. Yeah, she doesn't do any screen time, not even TV. That's pretty amazing. That's something to be admired, right? But yes, less screen time, that would be a really good one. Any other resolutions? Anything you guys want to do? Okay, so I want you to think about this, and if you think it's a good idea, I want you to try and make this your resolution. I want everybody in this room to try to be kind to everybody around them. Do you think that's a good resolution? Jojo, what do you think? Yeah? Yeah, I think it would be a good one. Dean, what do you think? Yeah? It's okay? Yeah. So,
Excuse me?
yes?
Actually, I didn't get a jewelry gem from inside that box.
Oh, you didn't get a jewelry? No, but you can have that then, Ju. But you know what? You know what's really good? Today we're having a party. And so at the end of the service, we're going to have lunch, or supper, I guess. I'm not sure which it is. Okay? And then we're going to play bingo. And with the bingo, we have tons of kids' prizes. And you get to choose which prize you get. Okay? So that's hard for going through the long, long chanting. All right? Okay, so now I'm going to get Brenda to take you guys off to the Dharma classroom, and then you guys can help her do some projects. Is Brenda here? Is she already in the Dharma classroom?
I think so. Let's go check.
Okay, you can go check. All right, thanks for listening, you guys. Brenda's there? Great. It's nice when some of them know the routine. Ooh, that's bright. Sorry for moving around on you, David. That's really exciting to see so many kids. And I meant to mention the fact that not next week, but the week after, we're going to start having a family service. So a family-oriented service. The whole idea is we're going to keep the service part down to about maybe 15 minutes, 10 minutes at the most. And we'll let the kids chant along with us, banging on drums and all that kind of stuff. And then we're going to do activities geared towards families. So starting on the 19th is our first family service, and we're going to try and do that once a month, every third Sunday of the month. So thank you everybody for coming for our Hoonko and Shotsuki service. Hoonko, as Sheila mentioned, is the service where we remember the founder of our sect of Jodo Shinshu Buddhism, our school of Buddhism. So he was born. You're going to take off? Yeah, I don't blame you. Okay, so I'm going to get people to join me in Gasho. Put your hands together, or bow slightly if you can. May the wisdom of the all-compassionate one so shine within our hearts and minds that the mists of error and the foolish vanity of self may be dispelled. So shall we understand the changing nature of existence and reach spiritual peace. Namah Butsu. Namah Butsu. Namah Butsu. Thanks, Wayne. So we're gathered here for our Shotsuki service, our monthly memorial service, to remember those who passed away in January. But we're also here to commemorate Hoonko, the passing or memorial service for Shinran Shonin. I hope that this is an occasion where we can reflect deeply on Shinran Shonin's life and his teachings. It's not just where we can remember he taught us. He shared his teaching, passion of the Buddha and the path of awakening. Shinran Shonin, as I've mentioned, was born 850 years ago, so that's quite a long time ago. But it was during a really turbulent time in Japan. The era where he was born was the first era when there was a shogun. So the warrior clan took over Japan, and it was a really turbulent time. Lots of civil wars happening. There was an epidemic, much like our COVID epidemic, where many people died. There was many famines, and lots of people passed away. And amongst this condition, Shinran Shonin really struggled with the deep questions that probably resonate to us today. He was trying to figure out, well, what's the meaning of life? You know, why are we alive? How can we, as ordinary beings filled with blind passions and attachments, find peace and liberation? So he was really struggling with his spiritual path. So what I thought I would do today is just take a little break and talk a little bit about Shinran Shonin, the founder of our sect of Buddhism. So, David, do you mind switching the slides to the... Great, thank you. And I can switch the slides from now. So, I think most of you know that Jodo Shinshu, the actual translation of Jodo Shinshu, is the true essence of the Pure Land path, right? So, we are part of the Pure Land school or sect of Buddhism, which is a Mahayana Buddhist path. And as I've said many times now, our founder is Shinran Shonin. He was born 850 years ago. This is a statue of Shinran. It's actually in front of the New York Buddhist Temple. And I haven't been there, but I hope to get there. It's in Manhattan. And the New York Buddhist Temple, the Shinran Shonin in front of it is a very special statue of Shinran. It was actually shipped from Hiroshima, Japan, back in 1952. So this statue stood less than a kilometer away from the detonation site of the atomic bomb in Hiroshima, right? And so all of Hiroshima, most of Hiroshima was burnt down, was destroyed, but this statue, which stood outside of a temple, actually survived. So despite the fact that all of the other buildings around it were gone, this statue survived. And so in 1952, the city of Hiroshima sent this to the city of New York, to the US, as a peace offering, right? So, yeah, so that's a beautiful statue. It's quite a large statue, actually. So if you ever go to Manhattan, look it up. Does anybody know where our statues of Shinran are? We have actually 2 statues. Anybody know? Where's our statues of Shinran? Bob knows. Yeah, front entrance. So when you come in, you might notice that there's 2 statues there, right? So these are the 2 statues. When you go, have a look at them. So one is very similar to the New York statue. And Shinran's often depicted as a traveling monk, right? So he's wearing his traveling hat and walking cane. And then the other one is a statue of Shinran when he was supposed to be 9 years old. And what's so special about him being 9? That's when he was ordained. Okay, so we have 2 statues of Shinran, both at the front entrance. And this is a pictorial description or images of Shinran. Does anybody know where Shinran is behind me? There's actually a scroll with Shinran Shonin on it. Anybody know? You might guess by looking at the pictures there. So if you look at the Buddha statue, as you're facing the Buddha, it's to your immediate right. That's Shinran Shonin. Okay? So we have lots of pictures and statues of Shinran. So why was he so important? He was born in May 21st, 1173, and his name when he was born was Matsumaru, and his last name was Arinori. He was actually born to an aristocratic family. So his father and mother were lower lords of the court in Japan, imperial court. But the sad thing is that his mother died when he was 6, and his father died when he was 9. So he became an orphan. And much like many orphans in Japan, there's no orphanages at that time in Japan, and so what happens to kids who lose both parents? They typically go to a monastery or a temple and become monks. And so his uncle took him to a monastery at the age of 9, and he was ordained by a famous monk by the name of Jichin, at a temple called Shoren-in Temple. So that's in Kyoto, and Shoren-in Temple is quite a prominent temple still in Japan today. So he was ordained at the age of 9, which is pretty young. It's pretty young age to commit to being a monk and following a spiritual path. The interesting thing is that it said that his uncle took him to this temple at around 11 o'clock at night. And the head master said, well, it's too late to ordain you, we'll do it in the morning. And Shinran, when he was 9, wrote this poem. Like a cherry blossom are the minds that think there is a tomorrow, but who can tell there may be a tempest in the night. So what he was writing is basically saying, I can't wait until tomorrow. There could be a storm in the middle of the night and I might change my mind. And so I want to be ordained tonight. And so in fact, he was ordained at midnight and under a candlelight. And so when we get ordained, when Kainen goes to Tokudo and gets ordained, we are ordained in a pitch black room with just one candlelight to stimulate what happened with Shinran Shonin, right? So we get ordained in much the same way. And so he became ordained, and then he became a monk at Mount Hiei. Mount Hiei is a mountain right next to Kyoto, Japan. And he practiced something called Jogyo Zenmai Samadhi. I think I've talked to people about this before, but Jogyo Zenmai Samadhi is walking around the statue of the Buddha for 90 continuous days. Okay? So you recite the Nembutsu, Namamida Butsu, Namamida Butsu, and you keep walking around and around and around the Buddha. It's kind of cool. My father did it. He didn't do it for 90 days. He only did it for 10 days. But the trick is that you're allowed to eat, and you're allowed to go to the washroom, but you're not allowed to lie down for those 90 days. Okay? So you have to keep walking, you have to keep going, you can't lie down. So how is that even possible? My father said that after about 8 days, he became quite delirious. He was so tired. But what they do in Japan, this is a picture of a monk, a Tendai monk doing Jogo Zenmai. So they still do it today. But the trick is that, do you see there's a bamboo pole there beside two pillars? What they do as monks is they drape themselves over those bamboo poles, and they're able to take cat naps with their body sort of draped over the bamboo poles. So they're not lying down technically. They're still on their feet, even though they're asleep. And so people are able to take maybe 20-minute, half-an-hour cat naps, but then they keep walking for 90 days. There are many monks in Japan who've managed to complete this 90-day circumambulation. I think it was felt that if you kept awake 90 days, you would become so delirious that you were close to a state of enlightenment. So he practiced for 20 years as a Tendai monk, but then he found out that he just wasn't getting anywhere. He decided that I'm not achieving what I want to achieve, which is enlightenment. No matter how much I struggle, my ego, my self-centeredness keeps getting in the way. So he decided, after 20 years, he was going to leave the temple and then he went to a temple called Rokakudo. And it's common in Japan, but people in Japan, if they're really struggling with existential questions, they do a 100-day retreat. So they go somewhere, isolate themselves for 100 days, they chant, they meditate, they do whatever, contemplate life. And that's what Shinran did. And on his 95th day, he had a dream that Shotoku Taishi, or Prince Shotoku, came to him in the form of a bodhisattva by the name of Kannon Bosatsu, or Avalokiteshvara. And in his dream, this bodhisattva said to Shinran, go seek out this master Honen. This monk Honen is teaching about the Nembutsu practice. And so that's exactly what Shinran did. He left the Mount Hiei temple and he sought out Honen. And Honen taught him for 6 years about the Nembutsu practice, about the Pure Land path. And this is Rokakudo temple. It still exists in Kyoto today. It's in the middle of Kyoto. It's quite famous. In the 80s, early 80s, it was actually the most visited temple in Japan, even though it was a relatively small temple. Anybody know why? It's because right across the courtyard from Rokakudo was the first Starbucks. So they had the first Starbucks in Japan, and so it became the most visited temple because everybody wanted to try out Starbucks. And that's the Bodhisattva Avalokiteshvara, or Kannon. So Shinran Shonin didn't have an easy life. After he trained with Honen for 6 years, the Nembutsu practice, Honen's teachings, became so popular that the other schools of Buddhism and the imperial court started to get jealous. They were threatened by the fact that he would have 10,000 or 15,000 followers. And so the Nembutsu practice, Honen and Shinran, were persecuted. And so in 1207, 2 of the followers of Honen were executed. Some say it's 4. So they were actually executed. and Honen and Shinran were exiled. So Honen was exiled to the Hiroshima area, and Shinran was exiled to a province called Echigo, or Niigata now in Japan. And I'm going to be in Japan in March, and we're hoping to go to Niigata this year. During his exile, he was actually married. So he was defrocked. He was given a new name, but he chose the name Gotoku Shinran, or I'm a stubble-headed fool, stubble-haired fool. That was his choice for his name. And while he was in exile, he married a lady by the name of Eshinin, and he had 6 kids, right? And that's extremely unusual for monks or monastics anywhere in Buddhist world, right? The whole idea was monastics or monks weren't allowed to get married. But he broke that rule because he wanted to show that Buddhism was meant for the everyday common person, those who led a secular life, right? It's also been documented that he ate meat. Again, monks in Japan weren't supposed to eat meat, but he ate meat. And he even drank alcohol. There's actually a count of him at a party where he had a couple of drinks, right? So he wanted to show that following a spiritual path wasn't necessarily just for monastics. So this is a map of Japan. He went from Kyoto and traveled by walking and also by boat to the province Echigo. I'll show you some pictures of Echigo. So this is where he supposedly landed in Echigo, and there's a statue there of Shinran. And he lived in a shed at a temple in Echigo for the first 2 years before he got married. And after he got married to Eshinin, Eshinin was quite a wealthy daughter of a landowner and a samurai, so he had a better life after he got married. That's another picture of Echigo. Echigo is beautiful if you go in the summer, but in the winter there's tons of snow and it's really cold. It's even, well, people say it's colder than Lethbridge. So there was many ideas that Shinran brought to Buddhism, and in fact, many historians say that Shinran was really a revolutionary. He really changed the way we think about Buddhism. So he talked about Amida Buddha, the Buddha statue that we have, and he said that the Buddha is the true reality itself. It's the representation of true reality. He also talked about, in the Pure Land path, everybody talked about reciting the Nembutsu, and it was important to say the Nembutsu, and that's how you got into the Pure Land. And Shinran said, no, that's not true. He said that the way you get into the Pure Land is having faith in the Buddha, in the Buddha's compassion, and that the Nembutsu is in fact just a grateful response for understanding that we're all going to be born into the Pure Land. He taught about the evil person being the focus of the Buddha's teaching. So when he talked about the evil person, he meant karmically evil or spiritually evil. So he said that the teachings of the Buddha were specifically geared to those who are suffering the most. So if you think about the person who is homeless, maybe has addiction problems, all that, that's who the teachings is meant for, those who are suffering the most, right? Yeah. And then the final thing that Shinran really emphasized was this whole notion of the Bodhisattva path. So it was believed that when we pass away, we go to the Pure Land and we get accepted by the Buddha into the Pure Land. But we don't stay there. We don't sort of lounge around and enjoy our enlightenment. What happens is that we return. As soon as we were born in the Pure Land and gain enlightenment, we return to this world to help all other sentient beings. So when you become a Buddha, when you go to the Pure Land, Shinran, through reading many of the sutras, felt that we all will return to help all other sentient beings. Oh, so I skipped ahead. Oh, David, can you go back? Otherwise it's going to start playing. So Shinran's teachings remind us that we're not alone in our struggles. So as human beings, we can get consumed by our egocentric self. We can get consumed by self-doubt and a sense of separation from other people. We may strive endlessly to fix ourselves, like making net resolutions, like I talked about with the kids. And we may believe that all of our efforts at self-improvement are really worthwhile. But what Shinran taught is that all of those efforts for self-improvement are important, but that's not what ultimately gets you into the Pure Land, what allows us to become enlightened. It is the working of the Buddha's efforts, his compassion, his vow, that actually allows us to be born into the Pure Land. So at Hoonko time, it meant for us to express our gratitude, not only for Shinran's life that I talked about and his teachings, but also for all of the causes and conditions that have brought us together to encounter the Dharma. So I'm going to get people to join me in Gassho again as we recite the Nembutsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sensei. To conclude this afternoon, my day, sorry. You can obviously tell I usually do morning services. To close today's afternoon service, we will conclude with the singing of the Gatha Ondoksan, or gratefulness. Once we're done singing, if you will please remain standing with your hands together in Gassho. So if you are able, if you will please rise. In the year ahead, challenges will undoubtedly rise, just as joys will blossom. Whatever comes our way, may we find solace in the unchanging compassion of Amida, whose vow embraces all beings equally and unconditionally. Let us also support one another in our shared journey, finding strength and inspiration in our Sangha community. This year, let us aspire to live in harmony with the teachings of the Dharma by 1. Cultivating gratitude, recognizing the countless causes and conditions that support our lives, from the people around us to the earth that sustains us. 2. Extending compassion, acknowledging the challenges of others and offering kindness and understanding in our words and actions. 3. Entrusting ourselves to Amida Buddha, letting go of self-centered striving and resting in the assurance of the Nembutsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Nambandab. Thank you, everyone. You may be seated. So thank you everyone for making time in your schedules this afternoon to attend our combined Shotski and Hoonko service. Thank you again to Roland Sensei and Kainen. Thank you to David, who's on AV. Toba and 3 has all bustled out of the room, but they're in the kitchen organizing and preparing our meal, so thank you to them as well. I do have a few other announcements, but are there any other announcements coming our way before I start my long list? Or maybe you want to hear, oh, Sylvia says yes. Okay.
I'm happy to announce that for the new year, we have a new project, and it's called the Free Cycle Table. And so it's now open. It's a table that's in the multi-purpose room. It's in the back corner near the bulletin board, and it's next to the food bank donation box. But this is a long-term project, part of our Eco Sangha efforts. Everything on the table is free to members of our temple community, and we welcome you to make donations to the table as well. What is on the table is basically anything. It can be a book exchange. It can be any items that you have that are gently used, that are new, that are vintage or handmade. And we are free cycling because we want to make sure that there, of all those things that we all have that we can't use, that they would go someplace where they are needed and appreciated. And also, whatever is not adopted from that table within a reasonable period of time will be taken to local charities. So we're saving things from going to the landfill, and we're avoiding waste, and hopefully we're having some fun in doing this little exchange. So I might add that there's also a free cycled binder that's going to be placed at the table. So in the binder, you can post about things that you would like to give away, but you can't or shouldn't bring to the temple, like a car. Or you can post about things that you need that somebody else in the community might have or be able to help you find. And you can post happy notes in here about the things that you gave away or that you received. Thank you.
So my announcements are a little bit more boring. If you brought a homyo to today's service, if you will please remember to take it home. If not, Sensei will definitely store it at the temple for you. Last month we had a mochitsuki, or a mochi making event. So we had an usu and a kine going, as well as a mochi machine. There is some mochi available for sale. For half a pound it is $5, or for 1 pound bags that are slightly, I would call them seconds, but still taste fabulous, those are $5 as well. There's another Tonari Gumi event coming up, and that will be a bingo and a pancake lunch, and that's on Tuesday, January 28th. And if you'd like to sign up for that, either as a volunteer or a participant, please see Brenda, and she'll get you signed up for that. I don't know if Kainen wanted me to introduce the ochazuke. Yes, no, next weekend. Yes, nodding. It was in the Hikari.
Oh, right. I can do that.
Okay. Margaret's not here as well. She's, I think, in the other room. But for the Interfaith Food Bank, the BTSA will be matching any donations of non-perishable food or cash or checks until February the 28th. So if you do have any canned goods that you'd like to donate to the Interfaith Food Bank, please do so. And then Margaret Tanaka will make sure that the proper quantities or the amounts are known to the BTSA. So the BTSA will also be cutting a check to the food bank. Kainen, you're up. Those are my announcements. And then after Kainen, I'll call upon Ikuta Sensei for Shokuzen no Kotoba.
You were talking about the Bunka Cafe, right?
Yes.
So we're going to be having another Bunka Cafe through the Ikigomi Youth Group, and the food theme for this one is ochazuke. So we're going to go through what's one of the reasons you did ochazuke growing up and what you can put in ochazuke. So there's one called neko gohan, which is bonito on top of ochazuke with shoyu. And then for me growing up, one of the reasons we did ochazuke was so that we didn't have to waste rice. So I remember in Shirakawa-go, I had eaten 3 bowls of rice. I was a little boy at the time, and I had eaten 3 whole fish, but half my rice bowl was still on the table. And Bachan said, "You're not leaving the table until it's finished." So she poured half a pot of tea in there, and then I slept pretty well that night. So please come out for the Ochazuke Bunka Cafe. And then one more announcement, which is memberships. So please remind your friends and family for membership dues for the temple. And it's $100 if I remember right. And then free for students. So that's mostly for the Ikigomi members. And then I'll ask Sensei to do Shokuzen no Kotaba. Onegai shimasu.
Sure, Ken. Just before I do, though, just a reminder, I sort of announced it during my Dhamma talk that we're going to have the family service on January the 19th. So it's not just meant for families. The focus is going to be on kids and families, but we're hoping that everybody's going to feel welcome coming. It'll be a little different in terms of service, shorter service, and it'll be a really fun activity. Brenda came up with this idea of a building set. And we can show you some examples of stuff that we built during Christmas, my family, just to try it out. And it's a really fun activity. And it's meant to be for kids, for adults, for grandparents, everybody, right? So if you could please join me in Gasho, put your hands together or bow slightly. We are grateful for this food we are about to partake, for all of the causes and conditions that have brought us together. We're grateful for the opportunity to ring in the new year and to be with our Sangha members. Namamidautsu. Namamidautsu. Itadakimasu. Thanks, everybody.